Easter's Knits podcast. My name is Sarah, and I'm so excited to show you what I've been making for the past 2 weeks. Feels like it's been a really long time, and I guess 2 weeks is a long time, but just a lot of stuff has happened in my life recently. A lot of exciting knitting things have happened. You might be able to see I finished my biggest project. I'm excited to talk about that in a little bit. I'm currently this is my second episode filmed in the new house, so this may be a bit echoey and quite bare, but I'm working on it. I do think that the house is great. I'm excited to live here, and I do it's probably going to take a little while before we are like totally settled in, but yeah. Let's talk about the finished object that is the most exciting, and that is the Scout Shawl by Florence Spurling. I finished it about a week ago. I know that in my last podcast I said I wasn't sure if I would be able to finish it, but I was so motivated that I just did it. It took about a week of knitting furiously to knock out the last section, but you know, the edge, it gets smaller and smaller as you go, and victory is so close, you can taste it, and I actually really enjoyed the process of knitting the end of it. So now it's finished, and I feel like it's a huge accomplishment. It's hard to know what to say about it. I guess I'll tell you the different colors I used. The white, off-white color is Almond by Holst in their yarn Super Soft. The orange is, I think, Red Brown by Bichet Bouche in their Petite Lamb's Wool. The blues are all from the shade bag from Holst. I think that the darkest is Indigo. This teal is Tiffany. The lightest is Breeze. That's also Tiffany. The other medium blue is Cobalt. That's all of them. And the brown is Peat by Jamieson and Smith in their Shetland Heritage, which is a really beautiful, like shiny, dark brown. I cast it off during the day. It was quite emotional. And then that evening I washed it with some soap to get the spinning oil out of the Holst Super Soft, and I pinned it, and it really felt like a ritual of love for this thing that I've been working on for 11 months. A lot has happened in my life in the past 11 months, and it seems unbelievable when I look at the beginning of the shawl. I remember so clearly casting it on and being nervous about starting such an intense project, and I was thinking about that when I was casting off, because this past 12 months I've really been through it, and I almost don't remember who the person who cast this shawl on really was, and I'm sure that when I cast this on, I couldn't have imagined how much I would have changed by the time I finished it. Yeah, so I think that knitting and art in general can oftentimes, for me, be really quite like an emotional symbol of the amount of the time that happened in my life during the making of the thing, especially in like a shawl, which is quite long. It's such a linear sort of making experience, and I don't think I really have I'm not able to articulate the fully my thoughts on finishing it and having it as a memento. Not only a beautiful thing for wearing, but also like a physical embodiment of time and effort over the past year. I think it's just really special. I'm glad that I have it for that reason. I'm glad that I have it because it's a really nice shawl. I think that I got a lot better at color work in the 11 months during which I was working on this project, and you can't really tell because, you know, the beauty of woolly wool is that it really evens out. So that's great. I was a little bit worried that the start would not look great because I was a much looser knitter when I began. And it was awful to purl the color work. About 250 of these rows were purl color work, but definitely something that now I feel totally capable of doing and unafraid. Same with intarsia. I think I had done it before, but never a big project where intarsia was a main technical feature. I didn't really follow the color recommendations for the different sections simply because I was working with a shade bag, so I didn't have enough of each of the colors to do all of the sections. In fact, you can see I ran out of one color before the end of a section here, and I just switched to finish it with a different color. I think it says a lot about me that I'm patient enough to spend 11 months working on a shawl, but not patient enough to wait for the next ball of yarn to come. I think I have shown you the back, but here's the back again. And it's really a thing of beauty. I'm so proud of it. And the good thing about it as well is that it's thin enough that you could wear it as a scarf, just like that. And that's not like extra bulky or anything. I actually probably have a scarf that's made to be a scarf that's thicker than this. And it's quite long. It's probably, mine is probably about 8 feet long, maybe longer. Mine turned out a lot longer and thinner than the one that was on the pattern. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's not superwash merino, so it doesn't have that width that you get when you block superwash merino. My favorite section to knit was, well, this one was satisfying, and I love these colors together. And I really enjoyed doing the zigzags here. My least favorite section to knit was this huge one in the middle. The chart for this is a little bit hypnotizing, so I couldn't really look at it intensely at nighttime or I would give myself a headache. So I ended up cutting the chart into one of the repeats, just one like this much, and then I would cross out, like really scribble out each row as I finished it, and that helped me keep track of where I was and didn't addle my mind too much by looking at it. So yeah, if you have any tips for trying to prevent the border from rolling in, I would really appreciate that. I have blocked it, but it didn't really seem to help that much, and it rained right after I blocked it when I was wearing it. So it's possible that I just need to do that again, which is fine, and I'll do that. Probably not until the next time I wash it, but I will do it. So yes, I would recommend this pattern. I think it's stunning. If you want a big commitment, then this is a big commitment. And that's really all I can say about it. A lot of people I've seen a lot of like podcasters say recently that they don't wear shawls, and I guess I don't really find that. I just do wear shawls. But if you somebody who doesn't really wear shawls, this is like, you could wear this as a scarf. It's very wearable. I think that the inside looks really cool. So if you are somebody who likes color work and doesn't like shawls but does like scarves, then this could be the pattern for you. On to my next finished object. I would describe my Scout shawl as a 10 out of 10 finished object, and I would describe this next finished object as a 1 out of 10. And it is this very large hat. It's too big. I could do like this, but it's so thick that it looks quite weird. It's reversible. Technically, this is a Musselburgh hat. But really, I just wanted to do a top-down hat, and I wanted to use this yarn up. The yarn is really nice. It's Malcomson mishap in the color Luvias and Arape. So this one is Luvias, and the inside is Arape. There you go. So the colors are beautiful. Really like them. I decided to use as much of the yarns as I could, and I wanted the pearl side to be out on the Arape color because I love the way that the colors blend with this. I think it's really nice. And I just did a 3-needle bind off in the middle. And it's so thick. I think that this wool is technically a bulky weight, but I'm really unused to knitting with thick wool. And it's a single ply, so quite an unusual type of wool. I bought it maybe in 2018 when I was first starting to get into knitting in a serious way, where I was interested in the wool I was buying and I was looking up new patterns, and it's just sat in my stash for years because I didn't know what to do with it. So I wanted to whip something up. I don't know if this is going to stay or if this is going to be unraveled. I don't really want to knit with this yarn anymore. I feel like, okay, I did it, I knit it up. It's maybe not the best fit for what I like to knit these days, but maybe it would be great for a beginner. So I think if I meet somebody who wants this hat and has an enormous head, I'll give it to them happily. Or if I meet a new knitter who wants to knit something that has beautiful colors, but maybe doesn't want to spend however many dollars a skein it is for Malabrigo, yeah, I would give it to them too. This is, I think, either way going to be a pretty nice gift, and yeah, this weighs more than the Scout shawl, because this is 2 100-gram balls, or skeins of yarn. And I think that each skein is 112 meters. So that's my other finished object. I'm not that happy with it, but I'm not having bad dreams at night because of it. It's just sort of something that I did, and now I will move on. I haven't worked on either of my socks this week because I was working on the Scout shawl, and then I was working on the hat, and then I was working on the cardigan, and I just haven't been feeling the sock action. So I'm not going to show you those because they look exactly the same, but I did cast something on. I have some leftovers from the Scout shawl, and I want to make a matching hat. So I decided to make the Crofter's cap, which is from the Shetland Wool Week 2021. I'm desperate to go to Shetland. I would love to go to their Wool Week. And this is a free pattern that they release. and I have been having a lot of fun. I've made it and unraveled it a few times, and I probably will unravel this at least partially, but here, let me. So it's got some corrugated ribbing for the brim. It's a free pattern, by the way, and they have some ideas for what color combinations you can use. The pattern is great because they have 5 different samples shown in the pattern, and then they tell you about the color choices. So I was able to pick the one that I liked the best, configure the yarns that I was using in the Scout shawl to go together, and I think that the start is really nice. At least I really like the ribbing. I think that I want to unravel this and make this white section orange, but I'm not sure. So, but this was just a couple hours of knitting. It's a fun sort of palette cleanser. I love knitting hats. It was amazing to knit colorwork and not have to purl every other row. That felt like a dream come true. So yeah, good vibes about this pattern. And hopefully I can get to Shetland sometime in 2022 and I will wear this hat there. My final work in progress is the Burrow cardigan by Fabel Knitwear, which I have right here. So here it is. I'm quite far along. Don't know if you can see. I've attached the sleeves. It's a bottom-up raglan cardigan. And I'm knitting it with 1 strand of Knitwear unspun yarn and 2 strands of mohair. The color of the Knitwear, I think it was from August or September last year, and it's Val, which is this blue. It's got a lot of natural gray in it, so it has this beautiful shiny element. And then the mohair is knitting for olive, medium blue, I think. And let me grab it. Here it is. Oh, I can tell you what color it's in. Dark blue. I bought this in a cone when they were doing a cone sale, and it was a 200-gram cone with 1,800 meters. It's quite a good deal. I think it was like 50 pounds, maybe 45, which is a lot, but you get a lot of meters for that. So I love the way it's combining with the Knitwear. I think that when you put a darker mohair with a lighter color, it gives such like a rich, beautiful vibrancy to the fabric. And it's quite a thick fabric, so this is going to be really warm. Not ideal for a balmy 28-degree Philadelphia day, but if I'm back in Scotland and it's spring, I think this will be perfect. I wouldn't need to wear a jacket. And it's going to be quite oversized, but also a bit cropped. So that's just a really comfortable shape that I think that it's going to be really wearable for me. I wear a lot of primary colors, so I'm big on like medium blues and reds and yellows. I quite rarely knit in blue, despite the Scout shawl being a bit blue and well, despite all that, I would say that I rarely knit in blue, or buy blue. But I love this, I'm excited about it. Let's see if I can show you again. I've modified this pattern quite a bit. So I've added a steek, and I totally changed the stitch counts for both the body and the sleeves. I made the body, I calculated my gauge, which was larger than the pattern, so I made the size. And I was just unhappy with having like an inch or two of negative ease, which is written into the pattern. But I tried it on and I just didn't feel comfortable. It wasn't what I wanted. So I unraveled the whole body, and then I cast on again, but with 70 extra stitches, which is quite a bit. I was going for like 6 or 7 inches of positive ease, and I have achieved that. It looks absurd when I try this on. I also changed the sleeves so that they had this sort of bell shape. So the sleeves have ultimately fewer stitches than the pattern, and the body has 70 extra stitches. And so obviously I couldn't do the recommended raglan decrease because it just didn't even apply at all. So I did some calculations to end up with the same number of stitches left over once all of the decreases are finished, because there's some shoulder stitches from the sleeves that are left over that you then pick up to knit the ribbed edging neckline. So I wanted to keep that the same because I thought if I kept that the same, maybe it would still have a similar effect to the pattern, which I really like. I just sort of ended up changing my mind so much in the process. So to do that, instead of doing the raglan decreases of the pattern, I am decreasing I'm decreasing a stitch from the body every round and a stitch from the sleeves every other round. So I have no idea how this is going to look in the end. It's my first steeked garment. Maybe I should have done a garment that was steeked in the pattern as my first one, but that's not really how I like to do things. But it's going quite quickly. I have about 14 rows until I'm done with the raglan decreases. And oh, here, this is kind of interesting. I've been knitting on this like a maniac, and so here are my daily stitch trackers. After I cast on the body and knit the rib, it took me like a week, and then I wanted to focus on this. So, because this has been a whip for months. I've only finished one garment this whole year, and that was a test knit, and the book that's going to be in hasn't even been announced yet, so I have no idea. I wear that jumper so much I'll probably have worn through it by the time that the book gets announced, but I haven't finished any other garments this year, so I really want to get this one done, even though it's kind of too hot to wear it already here. But I think that like in the next week or so I can knock it out. So the motivation to get going on that came because of a big mishap that happened with another project, which was, the project was the Nordiska by Knit Love Wool, aka Jennifer Steingass, and I wanted to use Nutiden, and I just was really, really excited about it. So I wound all the Nutiden up, 2-ply into little balls, and I had my friend Dana was winding the yarn as well while we watched the Grammys together, and that was fun. And then I almost finished the yoke actually, and it was going so fast and it looked really great. I had used, I followed 100 Acre Wool, a podcaster. She has a tutorial for how to use an app to show you how your colorwork colors will look, where you take pictures of the yarn and pull out, like you can drop her the exact color, and then you can either fill in like the colorwork chart, or you can, I just filled in the picture of the jumper folded up. I'll put what I did on the screen, and then I uploaded the colors of yarn that I had as options to use to see what they would all look like, because I'm still learning how to visualize different colors as different parts in a pattern, and that was really cool, and the video was very helpful. I would totally recommend it if you don't know how to arrange your colors for a colorwork. So that was all a very positive experience. I was really enjoying working with the Nutiden yarn. I think that the color Val was really thin. Sometimes they have really thin colors. And I tried knitting with it single ply and double, and it was just so thin and wispy it was impossible, which is why I'm holding it with 2 strands of mohair. But all of the other colors I have are great. So totally knittable by themselves or 2 strands. And I was excited because I was using a 5.5mm needle. Everything seemed to be going really well. I was like quite far into the chart, and then I thought, this doesn't really look right. Doesn't look like the right shape. Okay, Jennifer, I know that you're a very successful pattern designer and I've made your patterns in the past, but I don't know about this one. It looks weird. And predictably, it was not Jennifer Steingatz's fault. It was completely my fault. I had forgotten all of the increase rounds before the yoke. So the reason it was going so fast was because I had like 100 too few stitches and I was just knitting basically a cowl. So it's really not fixable. I like tried it on and it was just a cowl. Makes sense that it was going so fast. I was enjoying knitting it, but ultimately it had to be completely ripped out. And once I completely ripped out, I thought, I can't cast this on right away. I do want it, but I can't start again right now. I've ripped out so many things in the past few weeks just because of, I don't know, mistakes. I'm normally someone who will go back to make something exactly how I want it rather than forge ahead and make it work. So that was what spurred me to really start making progress on the blue Burrow cardigan. And I'm glad that I did because it's been really enjoyable, and I'm quite excited for the finished object. But I thought, I have so many whips, I can't cast this on again and have it be another whip that I don't feel motivated to work on because I've already had to rip it out. So I'll probably cast that on again eventually once the love comes back. And but that's just sort of a funny story of what happened to me this week. I didn't take any pictures of it before I ripped it out, but I will put up the picture of the photoshopped with the color palettes that I was thinking of using. So you can have a look at that. Finally, I have 2 acquisitions, 2 skeins of yarn. My dad came to visit, which is really exciting. My parents live in Scotland. I have 2 dads, and I don't get to see them that often, but I'm really close with them. We talk almost every day on the phone, and I have been missing both of them so much. But one of them, Martin, wasn't able to come over this time because he's not an American citizen, and he's waiting on getting a green card. So that was really sad that he couldn't come over. I haven't seen him in ages. Well, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen him, but it was really nice to see my other dad. He's staying in New York, but he takes the train down to Philly for a day every week, and I'm gonna take the train to New York next week to see him, and I love being around him. It's really fun. He's helping me sort out a bunch of logistical stuff. My credit card got stolen, so I have to file police reports and track stuff down, and I'm turning 26, so I have to get my own medical insurance. Everything's sort of coming to a head right now, so it's really nice to have him here. He loved the socks that I made for him that I showed in my last video. He really loves them. He's been wearing them. He didn't wear them today, but he wore them the other 2 times I've seen him. That's really nice. When he came over, he said, "Sarah, is there anything that I can bring you?" And I said, yes. So then I went on the Musselburgh website and ordered 2 more skeins of their sock yarn to be sent to my parents' house in Scotland. And he brought those skeins over for me. So I'll show you them. It's the Cuthbert sock, which is an 80% mohair, 20% Wensleydale, and it's got a really tight twist. So here they are. These are the colors. Cave is the gray and Wide Open Hill is the cream. And I do already have one skein of this, which is Melrose Abbey. And look at these three colors together. They're stunning. I have my eye on both of the socks from the most recent Pom Pom magazine, but especially the Ciriform ones, which are ribbed. And I really want to make like a couple pairs of them in these colors. I just think that that would be so gorgeous, but I do need to finish the 2 socks that I currently am working on before I can start another pair. But this is gonna be next once I finish those. So that was really nice, very exciting that he brought that to me. In return, I gave him the socks that I made for him. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I love them. They're just like, it's so, I can't describe it, but look at how like wiggly it is. It's just such a beautiful yarn with such like, it's really got something going on. That's all I'll say. Yeah, so those are my acquisitions. I just bought the 2 skeins of yarn. I actually bought them like weeks ago, but I only got them last week. During the past 2 weeks, I went to see Beethoven's Mrs. Solemnis at the Kimmel Center nearby, and that was amazing. I really enjoyed that concert. I've sort of been enjoying the hot weather, but I'm a cold weather person, so I tend to enjoy it for the first like 3 days, and then I am sick of it. And I'm already a little bit sick of it, so doesn't bode well for the summer heat. But I'm just trying to have a good attitude and stay hydrated. Another knitting thing that's coming up is I'm part of a pre-knit, which I was supposed to receive the pattern today. Maybe it's come since filming this video, but it's Albiona McLaughlin's new pattern, which is so exciting. I've been wanting to make the Tulk cardigan for ages, and she also has a pair of integrated heel socks that I think Ray from the Needles at the Ready podcast liked. So I've been wanting to make one of her patterns for ages, and I saw that she was doing a pre-knit on the New to Done Patreon. That's where it was posted. So I immediately emailed back, said I wanted to be part of it. It's a pre-knit, so there's no deadline. She wants you to cast it on as soon as possible, so that when the pattern is released, people can see it in different stages, I guess. So it's like a fully tech-edited pattern. I'm really excited about it, and it's in DK weight. So I will show you my options. All of them are yarns of which I have a sweater quantity, and all of them are yarns that I really want to use. So here they are. There's this one, which was a present from my parents. I think they got it at a farmer's market. In Edinburgh, there's a farmer's market at the bottom of Johnstone Terrace, and I think this was from there. It's really nice. I have 10 of these, I think. And then I have this Whistlebear Cheviot Marsh in the DK in the color Northern Soul, which is exactly the color of Easy Mac and cheese, and I really like it. It's like a really good yellowy orange. It's just, it's a color that's good on the brain. And then my other option is this Shelter in the color Bird Book. It has flecks of red, blue, and green and yellow, and it's like a yellowy dark green. So I'll have a sweater quantity of each of these. I have no idea which one I'm gonna pick for the pattern. And I guess you'll just see next time. If you have an opinion about that, I'd love to hear. but every time I think that I've decided on one of them, I think, oh no, but I really want to use another one. And then if I change my mind to work on the other one, I think, oh no, but I really want to use the other one. So a bit scatterbrained when it comes to choosing what yarn I'm going to use. But I think I'll probably decide the minute before I cast on. It doesn't have to be something that I plan about. But I thought I would show you those options because that's something I'm really excited about right now. And that's about all of everything that I have to show you. By the next time, my goals, I'll set some goals. I'd love to have finished my blue cardigan and maybe one of the pairs of socks I'm working on, although if I don't, that's fine too. Oh, I am going to a wedding in July, at the beginning of July, and the wedding is on a farm, and the people who are getting married are farmers, and one of the things that they make, they have a herd of mohair goats, Angora goats, which is actually the most northern flock of Angora goats in the UK. And I have a sweater's quantity of yarn from them, and I really want to make a jumper or cardigan and have it in time for the wedding so that they can see, because I think that they've only had one batch that they've sold, so I don't know if they've seen like a garment in it. So I'd love to have that finished before their wedding, and in order to do that, I think I need to start, oh, there's sirens. In order to do that, I think I need to start before May starts, so I have enough time. So those are the things that I'm going to be working on. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's always fun to film, and yeah, maybe next time I podcast there will be more things in this room. I hope so. Well, I would love to read any comments you have, and I hope you have a good 2 weeks. Goodbye.